Hey guys, today we have Israel.
Hello.
Hello. Well, let's get right into it.
Sure.
So, first of all, introduction of you.
Yes, my name is Israel. I came here to Canada a couple of years ago. I emigrated here, and I always wanted to study carpentry as a profession, and I found out through my searching that I would enjoy doing that through BCIT.
Yeah.
Which is
and
like
that's how we met.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where we met at VCIT.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun actually.
Yeah, I remember the first day was raining, right?
Yes.
It was in late October. And first day was pouring rain. We were giving the tour by Jeff. And during the introduction, Jeff asked us to introduce ourselves. And I think I went first or second, because I was sitting in the first row. And I said, I've decided to give trade school a try because I just got my PR this year. And I saw you mention that later. You're like, yeah, I got my PR recently too, and that's why I want to give it a try. So I think we are the only non-Canadian in the class.
Probably yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
I think so.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I see your friendly face. I want to say hi. So like,
Thank you.
yeah, I was like, and you didn't bring an umbrella that day, and I was like, just holding an umbrella and just kind of approached to you, and that's how we started our friendship.
Also, I'll have to say that you were pretty friendly, and you were quite different from the rest. Maybe because you maybe didn't have a Canadian background, so you were kind of different,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like different,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will say, yeah.
I think that's how I felt about you. You have the unique accent, and I think it's quite cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's how we met and became friends through BCIT. And next question: how did you like trade school?
Well, at the beginning I was super into it, really excited. I don't know, but for Canadian audiences who watch it, Gillian Harris, the interior designer who hosted the Love It or List It program, she was studying interior design at that school.
Yeah.
So I thought that it would be a pretty well-renowned school if she was studying and preparing herself there. So I was thinking well, if some people famous that I know even before coming to Canada study there, it has to be a really good school to prepare myself.
Okay, well, my next question was, and why did you choose it? So you just mentioned that's one of the reasons, because you saw a celebrity you liked.
Yeah.
And you trust this institution that it must provide high quality of teaching. And
Exactly.
Is there any other reasons other than?
Well, also I was looking for different schools and proximity as well,
Yeah.
And BCIT was pretty okay on location for commute to get there, and also the prices that they were offering, they were more competitive than other schools that were charging maybe double for the same thing.
But why carpentry though?
Well, I always since I was a kid, I was building up stuff, and I always enjoy the process of building up things.
Yeah.
So I have aviation industry
Tell
background
us
before.
a little bit.
So I was working before coming to Canada as a flight attendant, and I was doing that for about 8 years.
Wow.
And it was a career for me. It was really nice.
Really?
Yeah. I mean
cheap
within all the good things. Of course, there are also the not so good things and
Yeah.
the not so glamorous things about the
Yeah.
job. But generally speaking, it was a job that you will never get bored of it by doing it. So
And
for
it
me, it
was
was
good paid.
it was good paid in comparison to other jobs.
Yeah.
And you also have cheaper flights to fly around Europe, which was my case. And for me, it was a really good situation. Also, the financial crisis that was in Europe back in the day, since 2008. It was like the best opportunity for me to get out of it. So I started working in 2010, and since there I was like flying until 3 years ago.
So back in Europe, you were working as a flight attendant for 8 years, and then you came to Canada,
and I was tired of aviation, and I want to give a try to something completely different.
Okay.
So I was always passionate about construction and carpentry.
Yeah.
For me, it was like the no-brainer to go and do, you know. So yeah, since I was starting like my immigration process, was around 1 year and a half, the whole process, until I got my PR, and I was able to legally emigrate to Canada. That time I was like already thinking about the idea of like changing my career, and moving on to carpentry.
But like, there's so many trade programs on their website when I was browsing, right? There's carpentry, there's electrician, plumbing, there's joinery, which is like woodworking, cabinetry. But out of all of those options, you chose carpentry.
Yes, because I was like, I was always loving like renovation programs, you know, and I guess I fell for it, you know, like.
Did you feel like after actually working in a construction in Canada?
Yes.
Did you feel like your expectation of construction doesn't really match what you actually experienced the work here?
In some way, it does, but in some other way, no. It's like a completely different situation. But of course, I was a little bit aware of that, you know, that things on television look like enhanced and looks like cooler than what they really are, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, I knew it was like a hard job and everything, but still I want to give it a try because it was something that I was really passionate about. So I'm really looking forward to give it a try. So yeah, I guess it was like, no matter how hard it is, I want to give it a try and see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does actually working in construction like for you? Because I actually hooked Israel with a job in the same company that I worked for.
Yeah, that was like pretty fortunate.
Back in September.
Yes.
And how'd you like it? I guess, did you enjoy it? Which part did you enjoy the most, and which part did you hate it the most?
Well, I will start for the part that I hate it most.
Okay.
So it will be like easier, and then I can get into
the good part.
You know, which is the best. So worst part was the commute, basically. Okay. I live in downtown Vancouver,
and you don't have a car.
And I don't have a car because it's like super expensive to live in downtown, to pay parking and all the expenses of having a car. So for me it was not an option. So I was like taking public transportation all the time. So sometimes it was like 1 hour commute, but sometimes up to 2 hours a return commute. So
and the one you went to Lenny was like 3 hours.
Almost, yes.
Almost. Yeah, because the nature of this job, because we're basically a renovation company.
Yes.
And it's all over the lower mainland in British Columbia. So like there's places where if you're lucky to get a job in Vancouver, it may take you 30 minutes by bus.
Yes.
But sometimes we do jobs in Delta or Langley or Surrey. It could like easily take 40-minute drive, but 2 hours of public transport.
Exactly.
So that really.
And after 8 hours work, or even more sometimes if you have to do overtime, you know.
Yeah.
Plus the commute, it was like pretty exhausting job. Yeah.
I see.
I mean, best part of it was like the people working there. I was like pretty happy working with the people. They were like pretty considerate to me, pretty helpful and everything. So for me, people was like the best part of it. Of course, construction itself, it was also like something that I really wanted to try, so I was really willing and really keen on doing so. So but the best part was like people working there. They were pretty chatty and pretty friendly, and that was the most important thing for me, you know, to feel like accepted, to feel happy, and to enjoy while doing it. But after a few weeks, the commute was killing me, basically.
the number one thing you told me when you were quitting, you said there's no, you don't have any time left in your.
Exactly. I was spending like average 10 hours per day since
Yeah.
I was leaving my house until I was coming back.
Yeah. Plus.
Plus also like I was not used to like physically to do this job, you know.
Yeah, me either.
So I was like pretty much tired all the time.
Yeah.
Like physically tired.
And you don't work out. Do you work out?
Since years, no, I haven't. When I was like a teenager, I was working
Show
out.
them your muscle.
No, like it's been like a while since I was like doing like physical labor or something
Yeah.
related to.
Same.
So it was pretty tiring, and but in the other way, you know, I was enjoying it. Like it's not that I quit because I was hating it. It was more about like the lifestyle that I want to
Balance.
have.
Yeah.
Exactly, like more work-life balance.
And your relationship.
And also my relationship, yes. It was like taking its toll a little bit because I was like more time out. And when I was coming back, I was tired and I wasn't feeling like doing much left for
Same.
the day.
Like every day when I got home, I take a shower, I have something to eat, and then I just lay in the bed because
Yes.
I got no energy left. I was exhausted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we also were working Saturdays because you want to make,
Yeah.
especially when you start working, you want
Oh,
to make that extra income.
Oh yeah. For
And
sure.
maybe when you are more financially secure, you will choose not to work during the weekends. But we were also like working during the weekends.
For me, it's the hours.
Yes.
I wanted the hours. Didn't care too much about the money because they're not paying extra. They're not paying
No.
overtime.
No, which is okay. I mean, like especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
But I mean, the more money you can make, the better. Especially at the beginning of your career, you know, because that will mean that you are able to get back to schooling and
Yeah.
and
That
and
was
get
my
your
plan.
diploma.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was my plan. So this question just came up in my mind. Did you feel like this job has connected you with your desire of inner masculinity a little bit more
Yeah.
compared to the job you worked before? Because for me, because this is like a kind of a men's
A men's world,
A
let's
men's
say.
world,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, many women do this job as well, but it's like more common for men to do it.
predominantly men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I will say so. The thing is that I used to help my father like way years back ago. He has land, and I was helping him like work in the land, and also he was renovating his country house. So I was helping him already in construction. So I got like a little bit of experience already,
Right.
and a little bit of knowledge as
Right.
well. Like, but it was like more concrete and
Oh, yeah.
bricklaying than carpentry itself, like
Yeah.
wood and.
But like nowadays in Canada, it's more tilted towards concrete buildings.
Yeah, and that's what I didn't want to do
You don't like it.
because I don't see the charm on
Concrete.
concrete. It's just like ugly to me, you know.
Because you come
Wood.
from that world.
Exactly.
And you like
for me,
wood structure.
common thing is like concrete, brick, and cement, and
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
it. And it for me doesn't have any charm at all unless you are using stone, which is nowadays super expensive, and you only will find out in like expensive places or like in old houses. But otherwise, yes, it's basically brick, and they are not so well insulated like wood here
yeah.
in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, for me it was more charming to use wood as a resource, and also like the detailing in wood, which of course will take you years to practice and
Yeah.
and to get there. That was the charm that I was looking for. That like the architectural detailing in carpentry, that was like the thing that I was like looking forward to learn how to do and enjoy the pleasure of creating something beautiful. Also like the creative part on doing that, you know, not just like labor and basically making money.
it's okay. I don't know how to make a good segue of this conversation, but because the majority of our audience, I would say, is like from the LGBT community, and I would say most of them are young trans kids. Like from, I took a look last time at our demographic audience. Most of them are from 25 to 40, male. I don't know if it's trans guy or cis guy, but there was one debate that I had with a person online the other day. I posted a short video of Jordan Peterson. Do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
No, I'm not aware of him.
Well, in short, he's a Canadian professor.
Okay.
A clinician practicing psychology, and he was famous for voicing his opinion on the Bill C-16 regarding changing the laws about pronouns on transgender people. And I said, and there's an interview of him. The journalist was asking him, "Do you think trans women are real women?" And he said no. And I said, and I reposted the thing. I said, "I am trans, and I agree with him. I agree with what he said." And so this person challenged me. He asked me. He's like, "Why do you think that? You're trans yourself, and why would you say that?" I was like, "Well, there's biological differences between trans women and cis women." And he's like, "It's a guy," and he's like, "Yeah, but there's also biological differences between black women and white women, but they're still women." And I said, "Well, it's different because."
But one thing is race, and other thing is like
Sex.
the sex you are born with.
Yeah.
Yeah, like naturally born with the.
And so we kept debating, and
similar happens with J.K. Rowling.
Oh yeah.
About a tweet that she posted on Twitter, and it was like pretty controversial because she was saying that women were women and like trans women were not women, like basically meaning that it was not exactly the same words.
My opinion is, okay, there's biological differences, and if you think there's no significant distinction between trans woman and cis woman, then you're delusional. And I said, if you can't believe me, try. He's also a trans guy. He told me, and I said, try work in construction for a few days. And he replied, "Oh, I wouldn't last a day in construction because I'm not built for that." And similarly, a cis man who has my lifestyle wouldn't last it either. So his point is, there's better genetics cis men, and then there's maybe average genetics cis men. And I said, well, where's the line? Are you going to draw the line between better genetics cis men who regularly work out and have more muscle, and average genetic cis men who has your kind of lifestyle, which is maybe you don't work out as much and you're not built like that? Where's the line? Because we're talking about average people here.
Yes.
And from my personal experience, the people I work like in this company, for example,
yes,
99% are men.
Yeah.
And I work out, and I'm relatively fit and healthy. But
you are pretty fit, yeah.
And I still struggle compared to them because they can just take on tasks like going nonstop. And I mean, of course they're tired. They're not like, they're human beings, but also I can tell like I cannot take on as much task as they do, and like I cannot lift as much weight as they do. And I have realized that, and I admit that fact that there are differences between me and them, and I acknowledge that because it's true, it's a fact. I cannot pretend to be someone I'm not.
Yes.
And, yeah.
But I think in this case you shouldn't like focus on biological origins or how you were born. The fact in here is that if you're a trans woman or a trans man, in this situation, you should be like accepted and be treated as a man or as a woman.
Yeah.
No matter, of course, no matter of what you were born.
I'm not against that, but
of course.
But when the interview, the question was, do you think trans women are real women? Well, first of all, define real woman. What do you mean by real woman? And
you mean like originally born as a woman?
Then they're not, right? Because it's simple answer. Anyway.
But also I'll have to say that you were born a certain way, but that doesn't take the fact that while you were being created, according to your own hormones, like you were developing in your body, they were like kind of like making if you will be a man or a woman, or like something in between, or any other. So in this particular case, you are actually born a woman. If when you develop yourself, you feel as a woman, even if you were born with male genitalia, you know. So in this case, let's think about like people who are like in between, you know, or they are born with both genitalia,
like
intersex people, exactly. So in this particular case, is a man or is a woman. So I will go to him with that argument and say, so is a man or is a woman, or is both things at the same time, or is none of them?
It's a rare case though. It's a rare case.
But actually, like, it's a percentage of the population, which I think it doesn't have like enough
representation.
Exactly. Still. And one thing that Canada does is like promoting all this kind of like acceptance. Like, you're not obliged to identify yourselves as a male or as a female, but also as another option.
You can apply for X on your passport.
Exactly.
So I thought about it.
Like, so just the fact that they are like also taking in consideration people who are not born either way, or they don't consider themselves as a male or female. In this case, it's like a pretty big step in comparison to many other countries. And if something changes because there is like a demand for things to change, and if we will focus ourselves just in genetic origins, maybe in that case he will be right. But in the other hand, if you were born like halfway there, you are still being a man or a woman. Like, you're a human being, so it doesn't really matter of.
I guess it's how your soul feels.
Exactly. Also, like, well, not even education, because you can get educated as a female and then find out that you are like a male. So it's not about education, but it's more about the way you feel.
What do you mean by get educated as a female?
Like the education that you will receive in a social background, like being treated as a woman and being educated as a woman.
Well, I don't know. There's a education that's specifically designed for women.
It's just like the way you treat like men and the way you treat women, like in the same
like you teach young
community.
Boys, oh, you gotta act like a gentleman or something like that.
That kind of things, like maybe that will be like an old fashioned, but the way you will treat a woman or a man, you know.
I see.
In that case, like in the old times where, like, you know, like gentleman will open the door to the lady, and that will consider like courtesy, and nowadays we are like more equal on that, and sometimes a little bit of old-fashioned charm. It doesn't hurt anyone.
It doesn't hurt.
Even if it's considered maybe like
Sexism.
to consider that a man should open always the door for a woman, this kind of like old-fashioned rules, but in the other hand, I think it's like, I guess it's because we got it like in our education that we see it as a charming thing to do,
Yeah, I don't see no harm.
No, exactly. So
I like someone open the door for me.
No matter if it's like a lady or if it's like a man, it's just
matter.
like common courtesy.
Yeah.
Which is like good nowadays, especially.
Yeah. So I wanna bring us back to carpentry. If time went back, would you still choose trade school again?
Probably yes, because you don't have like the glass ball to see the future and to see the outcome. So probably I will do it again. Probably.
Okay, good. Well, enough about trade school and carpentry and construction. And remember last conversation we had is about COVID, which is what's happening currently in the world right now. And
Yes.
we can talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
So last time, I really like what you mentioned, the sacrifice of personal freedom for the better good. Could you elaborate a little bit more?
Sure. We were talking about like how personal freedoms were getting in the way of like getting recovered of COVID like faster.
Yeah.
And we were comparing like China and other countries that are not like communist. So we were comparing that nowadays in China like is almost COVID free. So
Are you cold?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think I should wear something.
Yeah. I saw your lips shiver. It is cold.
Especially if you are quiet.
Yeah, if you're not moving.
Yes. So we are in Canada after all, and we are in Vancouver. So people from Vancouver will complain about the cold,
People in Vancouver complain about everything.
even if we don't know what real cold is.
Yeah. Cold is you go outside for 10 minutes and you die. That's cold.
That will be
So, back to the COVID thing.
Sure. We were comparing like the approach of some governments related to COVID, and they were sacrificing personal freedoms for the very good of like keeping people safe and also limiting the spread of the COVID.
So if there is a policy saying completely lockdown for 1 month and then we can do whatever we want, you will vote yes.
Of course, it will be worth it, because on the long run, they're not doing the things like the right way. It will be more expensive and more detrimental to our economy as well. And I think if we will shut down for a whole month, like you wouldn't be able to leave your house, everyone, and just like police patrol, like super well protected, and making sure that nobody wouldn't like follow the rules. We will get rid of the COVID, and it will just cost like a month on the economy. And what is 1 month of the economic lost in comparison within years that this may take?
Do you think 1 month will do it?
I think so.
Or I forgot how long it took China. Like definitely more than 1 month. But like what would you say to the people who attend the rally of against mask?
That you have your freedom to do whatever you think is best for you, but you should also respect people who prefer to wear the mask, as I'm respecting you not wearing it.
So you're telling me there's an old adage in Spanish that what's the phrase? The moment when you end my freedom is the what is it? How do you say it?
Yeah, when my freedom starts, your freedom finish. So basically meaning that if I'm allowed to have enough freedom to communicate or to have a relationship of any kind with somebody else, it should be like equal freedom, and you should respect my freedom in order for me to respect yours. So in that case, I think that would be like the best approach. But we are talking here like higher problems. Like people are getting killed by COVID, and it's like really serious threat. That could be like sorted out with
people like that think you are violating their human rights.
Yes, that's what we were talking about, the better good of. If people will know for certain that if 40 days or a month will do to end up the COVID, I think it's well worth it to encourage it. And maybe some people will believe that I'm like a radical person, or that I don't see in the consequences of being a month locked down. But actually we are not 100% like being free nowadays.
No.
Due to the COVID. So,
I mean, you can still go to the restaurant and go to the mall.
Yes, but for how long if things get worse, for how long we'll be able to have our freedom? And also the economy, how is being affected, how is being damaged because of this virus, who is making our lives like a new style, and not in the good way,
No, but we were saying that if completely shut down, all the big corporations wouldn't be happy about it, because not all of them, but most of them see short-term.
But government should take their word there, not the corporations.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, government should be strong enough to not rely on corporations to decide what is best for the country, and for the people living in the country.
In a capitalism country, I think it's the other way.
Well, I mean, either way, if that will be for the better good of people, that they will get rid of the COVID 100%. Let's see, if that will make it to get rid of it. In 1 month time or in 40 days time, you could just get back to normal, and the economy could bloom again, and people could get slowly back to normal, and I think that will be exactly that will be for the benefit of everyone. So if 1 month or 1 month and a half will do to get rid of the problem, I think it's worth sacrificing your personal freedom.
I agree.
Than maybe being years with your freedom limited. So if you add up all those limitations among the time, at the end it will be longer.
I know, exactly.
Your freedom.
They're not seeing it. I guess they're not how do you call it? Long-term oriented.
Yes, and also it's pretty difficult to put all the countries, all the nations, in order to implement it and to follow it. Especially also in developing countries. How do you control those segments of the population?
Yeah.
Will you put them in a place to self-quarantine, or how will you do it? It's not as easy, because they may not have the resources, or even the governments may not care about those people. And those people could still getting infected and spreading the virus to people who are considered better citizens. So in that case, it wouldn't be enough to get rid of the problem.
Right.
But in an ideal world, especially in developing countries, if 1 month will do it, and then prevention.
I think it will, because we don't have a big population here, and
it's a pretty small population country and well spread around geographically speaking.
Yeah.
So, I think it will make sense to do it here at least, and also just to get back to normal, because people are. It's just a little bit scary to think that we may get a new reality, and then things won't change for years to come.
I'm scared for that. I want it to change. Yeah.
You just want to go on holidays to different countries and to enjoy your life, and not to be worried that you may get COVID, or any other illness,
Yeah.
So I think it will be well worth it, the sacrifice of personal freedom, within reason, of course.
Yeah.
For the better good, and of course the most important thing, for people in vulnerable age groups to stop dying because of that. which is just terrible. Like, and it's really important also vaccination in this case to prevent, but also as a virus may mutate. So
last time you told me you won't get the vaccine.
it really depends on how things go. If I see the necessity to get it and it's like accessible and easy, for sure it's something that I will do.
Okay.
But if I feel that I don't need it, it's like something that I will think about it, before doing. But in the other hand, if everybody will do it, I wouldn't say no, not me. Of course, it's something that you have to also think about other people.
Yeah.
And not just about yourself.
Exactly.
In this case, I think it makes sense to get vaccinated for the better good, and also just to be safe for the people around you. It's not all about yourself.
Yeah.
It's also about people around you.
Yeah.
That you may get the COVID virus and not to even realize it.
Yeah.
And just spread it all around to vulnerable people. So, what would you think if for your fault you kill someone and not even knowing it, just because of being careless and
later found out that
exactly that you may be the person who caused
someone's death.
Exactly. I wouldn't be able to live with that, to bear the thought that I killed someone, not directly but indirectly. Like, it will be like really bad for my mind to
it'll be a huge baggage to carry on for the rest of your life.
Exactly. To feel that if you will have been like more careful, or maybe getting vaccinated if you think it's really necessary, and in that case, yes, it's like peace of mind.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's all we covered all the topics that we wrote down. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience?
Well, first of all, that trans women are women. And trans men are men.
Thank you.
No matter how they were born. Because you are just the way you feel you are. And no matter what your genitalia is. Because it shouldn't matter nowadays, especially. In
2020.
In 2020, I think it will be like pretty old, Not to
we shouldn't go backwards.
Exactly, and not to consider certain freedoms that people sometimes nowadays takes for granted.
Oh yeah.
It took like a lot of courage and a lot of effort and a lot of fear and a lot of pain for people to get where they are nowadays. So I think that you always have to fight for what you believe and to go for it.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm not going to shake your hand. Let's
just elbow
bump. Thank you. Thank you.